So, I just finished watching Stranger Things, and out of all the undeniably strange things in the show, perhaps the strangest was the ending. Throughout the show, the protagonist crew just can't seem to catch a break, and that seemed to set the tone for the whole show, until the final episode, where the clouds part in an almost Disney-esque way to reveal a sappy and romantic finish. Though this could just be a show review where all the small details are discussed and all the plot holes are dissected, there are a few things that made this finale especially important and inspiring outside of the main story. So first, let's talk about the in-person movie screening that's basically a first of its kind for TV shows. After watching this movie and talking with one of the employees at the theater, I learned that in the first 2 days of the premiere, the only 2 days of the premiere, every single theater was sold out. With the recent popularization and near monopoly of entertainment by streaming platforms, all but killing the going to the movies culture, I'd say this is a huge step in the right direction. Bringing people together in theaters to go out and talk face to face about a movie is an experience that, in my life, has only become rarer and rarer. This, honestly, was so cool to see. Everyone getting hyped to go to the theater to watch their new favorite show gave me some hope for the revitalization of these tertiary spaces. And in a world that seems to grow more distant with each social media and transhumanist advent, this brought us closer together. It should also be mentioned that this revived interest in theaters would not be the same without a Minecraft movie, and you guys remember the memes surrounding that.
Flint and steel.
Another important feature of this finale was the release date, the last day of 2025 and the first day of 2026. The new year is a big deal for a lot of people, even though it may just be an arbitrary number, and it signifies new beginnings, which was so fitting for this premiere. Not only thematically with the story, but also with the cultural tone I'm seeing in the recent internet, a glint of hope. The early 20s brought a lot of uncertainty to a world that seemed quite stable for a while, especially in the teens, and though there definitely is some personal bias shining through in this opinion, as I was a kid in the teens, there is definitely something to be said for those low interest rates and insane pop party culture. We kicked the 20s off strong with a pandemic that not only took a toll on people's mental states, but also debuted a new era of political intensity, which combined to create a noticeable cultural sense of fear and anxiety. Pair that with the era of AI and everyone's favorite onslaught of brain-rot slop that's basically unavoidable on the internet, and I see a lot of kids losing hope for the future. A technocratic one, hopelessly doomed by all the old heads that somehow managed to fuck things up irreversibly. And this is all well and good, and though having a scapegoat for the current state of the world has historically proved to be a very useful coping mechanism and political tool, I do believe we have something better to turn to. Enter an optimism revolution. Or perhaps not a revolution, but the swing of a pendulum. In this case, I think a pendulum swinging is a bit better of an analogy than a revolution of a wheel, because it seems that in all fields of life, balance is always left unachieved by overcorrection. But luckily, the extremes of either side of a pendulum are short-lived relative to its path. I've heard plenty of people talking about the new renaissance that's upon us. An era of post-AI creativity and humanism that I think is a great message to spread amongst the youth and frankly everyone for that matter. The gravity of the last 5 years has weighed everyone down and created a sort of cultural tunnel vision. But the reality is that even though it feels like we're in the most important part of history, I would go as far as to say that that's always true. But in such an informed and technologically advanced society, we bear the weight of knowledge now more than ever. And I think that's what's causing this seasonal depression of the current era. But I also think people are finally growing tired of it, and that's being reflected in the tones of our media. The ending of Stranger Things was more than a finale of an iconic show, but it was also the message of hope and happiness in a dark time. I think they said it best when Hop said we have two paths to choose between. We can sulk and dwell on the mistakes of the past, or we can push on and live the best damn life you can. Sometimes when you're in the trenches, it can be hard to remember to pop your head out and look at the world around you. And it can seem that things change so fast and the cruel world will leave you behind if you can't catch up. But a perspective shift on these axioms can make all the difference. We are inextricably tied to a culture carefully crafted by groupthink, which, though it allows us to function as a greater society, it is also the root of some of the greatest evils of history. So take this as a reminder to stray from the asserted norms of the era and pursue a path through your own mental realm, pioneering a trail away from the control of social norms and into a place of personal understanding and forgiveness. We've got a lot of life to live, so thanks for sticking around.